And I'm delighted to say we're turning our attention to golf. Olivia Mehaffey is with us. Olivia, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. What part of the world are you in at the moment?
Currently in Northern Ireland.
Very good. And there's a tournament coming up there next week. Is that right?
Yeah, big one next week. Galgorman Mazarine starting next Thursday.
This is a pretty special tournament. It's got a 50-50 split for the men and women. It's a fairly relatively new initiative. It's happened over the last couple of seasons where there have been these tournaments, but it's a quantum leap forward for the game.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's huge. I mean, to be part of this is very special, especially playing at home. And, you know, I think that's, you know, anytime you're playing an event that's kind of, you know, challenging the current boundaries and pushing barriers is very exciting. So I think it's very good for us to tee up with the guys. I think the guys enjoy it, and it should be a good event. So hopefully we get weather like this and get some good crowds out there.
Yeah, I mean, if the weather's like this, it's going to look like the nicest golf course in the world.
Exactly. People will be wanting to come to Ireland for their holidays.
Yeah, how bad? Come here, listen, talk to me a little bit about, you've just recently officially finally turned pro. It's been coming for a long time. What's that transition like? Because you've known, I guess, since you were a teenager, that your destiny was to become a professional golfer, to finally get there. What's that like from a psychological perspective? Is it freeing? Is it like, okay, great, I've made it this far? Is this where the pressure feels like it's at its most? How are you dealing with that?
I mean, it's been very exciting. You know, I kind of did, I think, 8 weeks on the road there and threw myself off the deep end. And a few people telling me that I should maybe take a wee break and slow down. And I think I've learned that. But, you know, it's been exciting. I've been waiting for this moment since I was a little girl, and kind of feels surreal that it's finally here. And it's very exciting. And, you know, it's just a completely new journey, a new chapter, and kind of learn as much as I can now while I'm in the early stages. That'll hopefully help me for a long career. But you know, it's a lot more golf than amateur golf. You're organising a lot more things yourself with the team around you, and you've got that bit more freedom. But definitely still enjoying it, and just trying to learn as much as I can while I'm still a young pro.
Yeah, so in terms of what your own markers were for those 8 weeks, is it literally just about making sure that when it comes down to teeing up that you feel as good as you possibly can? Is that your kind of, because I guess at this stage, if you feel like you're enjoying your game, you're going to perform well.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, I've got a really good team around me that help with that. You know, my agents, my coach, everybody's trying to take the pressure off me to just go out and play golf and to perform to how I am capable of performing, and how they know I can perform. So, you know, just kind of learning all these things now, and I just want to go out there and still enjoy it. I know it's work, but well, work now, but it's not a bad job to have. So, just trying to enjoy it and really take it all in and learn as much as I can now before hopefully I'm on the bigger stage.
Tell us a little bit about when you were growing up and the dream of becoming a professional, because obviously you know, I think people who have had a tangential understanding of rising names in golf, yours was always one of the ones that got mentioned about a future star. So there would have been expectation, I suspect, from outside as well as inside. When did you realise that turning pro was a realistic option for you, and when did you realise that you were going to be good when you turned pro?
Well, I mean, I started when I was 6. I've always played, family play, grew up, and I was very competitive with my brother and always trying to get my handicap lower than him and beat him. So, you know, that was a lot of my childhood, and kind of started playing international more tournaments when I was, I think I got my first Ireland Cup when I was 13, so I was quite young on the team. Like, I remember going to a tournament and losing a tooth on the way there, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, this girl is so young, what is she doing here? So I have kind of those memories growing up. So from a young age, I was kind of already put on a big stage, you know, learning to travel without my parents, and kind of gain that independence. So I think from that age, I really fell in love with the game, and I knew I wanted it to be my career, and I've been saying it for years and years. So I think I kind of knew, you know, when I was 12 or 13 that I want this to be, you know, my whole life. So from a very young age. So
were you playing for the senior Irish international team when you lost a tooth?
The girls team,
right.
So the under 18 team, and then I think I got my first cap for the ladies team when I was 15 or 16, so still pretty young.
Because I was searching my notes for this, and an email popped up from 2014 where you were meeting Nick Faldo. It was the Lochern Invitational Challenge. And I was like, you know, you've obviously been on the circuit quite a while, despite the fact that you're a newly minted professional. This has kind of been your day-to-day existence now for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. And, I've had a couple of like setbacks. I broke my hand and then obviously COVID. So, I mean, I could have been, I really wanted to turn pro maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. So just kind of being pushed back. But I mean, I'm kind of grateful for that time because I feel like I'm a little bit more ready now. I've matured a lot more and, kind of ready for the demand that is because, people think it's this glamorous life and it's not, it's living out of a suitcase, booking flights last minute. Am I getting into this tournament? Am I going here? And, all of that kind of stressful side to it too. So it's not this lavish lifestyle of private jets that some people seem to think it is.
Not yet, not yet. We'll give it a couple of years and that's going to happen.
A few more years and maybe that'll happen.
Is Royal County Down your home club? Was that the first club that you were a member of?
I first joined Tanchagee. I lived just 5 minutes away and then joined Royal County Down when I was very young. So I've been very lucky to have the support of both of them from a very young age.
It's obviously something specific about the quality of golf course and coaching and competition that kids get exposed to early in that small portion of the world that has given us so many amazing golfers. What's your take on why that little corner of Ireland is so spectacularly successful when it comes to the international stage?
Yeah, I mean, I remember, growing up, I was always very encouraged. I felt like they wanted me to be there. They took me under their wing. I remember going on Saturdays to Royal County Down, and the ladies were delighted to play with me. And I'm this little 9-year-old kid, probably running around the place, And that's so nice for them to really welcome you in. And I don't know if golf's that accessible everywhere else, where they do really take you in and they want to see you do well. And I remember they were teaching me so many things. I feel like I grew up and I turned into the girl I am today because of them, and I matured a lot. So I think that's very good. And then obviously there's a lot of good players. So, that competitive aspect. I remember being an Ulster coaching and Ireland coaching, and that really brings you up. And it's nice. You can go out and you can play with the girls, and you have all those good players to play with. And I think playing with players better than you really helps kind of bring you on. And
so you obviously are particularly talented as a teenager. And at that point, the option of going to the States, was that automatic in your head? Was that always clearly the best pathway was to do the collegiate thing in the US? Or was there any possibility of going pro before that? What was your thought process then?
Well, at that time, I think I was about 16 when I was deciding, and I decided that I wanted to go to America for 2 years. I was like 2 years and then turn pro. And I knew I wanted to go out there because I wanted to get used to being away from home, living away from home, and also the golf courses over there. I wanted to get used to the different types of rough, the fast greens, the slopes, that side of things as well. And I knew my end goal was the LPGA and to play in America. So that I thought prepared me best for that stage. So I went over there and I was like, I'll do 2 years, I'll turn pro, and then away we go. And I went over there and I loved it. I loved everything about it, and I worked my butt off in school, and I was like, I'm not wasting not having a degree for the sake of 2 years. So I decided to stay for 4 years. And then COVID happened, so I took a 5th year. So I went from wanting to do 2 years to end up doing 5 years, and I'm halfway through a master's now. And if you told me, 5 years ago that I would have a degree and halfway through a master's and I would have done 5 years at Arizona State, I would have told you you're crazy. So it's just funny how everything works out. But I think that time's been very good for me. It's nice that you're very sheltered in amateur golf. You're not on the big stage yet. You're not getting all that attention. You're not getting criticized or ridiculed for anything you do. So, it kind of allows you to like grow and develop as a player a little bit more under the radar, which is quite nice.
What are you studying?
I got my degree in sociology, and I'm halfway through a master's in organizational leadership.
Okay, right. So there's an alternative life for you as well, which a lot of times with professional sports people, they get so laser focused that actually when the bad times come, there's nothing for them to think, okay, actually, you know what, I can work my way through this, because if it doesn't work, I have a fallback position. And that kind of, particularly in a game that's so psychological as golf, not having that safety blanket can conversely actually end up being really bad for you. Is that something you were conscious of and have become conscious of recently?
Not so much. I did it because I wanted to, but when I look back, and if I was to give advice to the younger girls now, I would be like, go and do it, because even now, the team around me, we're very careful with who we align with and, what sponsors, and I have amazing sponsors. And, I'm so excited to go and do days for them and to go and help out with the kids, or to talk about diversity and inclusion in the workplace, that kind of thing. I never really thought I would use my degree, and I'm using my degree now. About, I can think about classes I've taken where that's really going to help me to go and do those talks. And I think, it's finding things that you're interested in off the golf course too, because it just becomes way too intense if you're just, golf, 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 golf. So it's nice to have that kind of break, and you think what you are passionate about, and you get to enjoy that side of things as well. Whereas I don't think, before I would have had any balance in my life, say, and that's kind of opened up a whole new, side where I have that, away from the golf course as well, which I really like, which is a side I totally never even thought about.
Yeah, and you can see exactly how it would benefit, particularly in a sport like golf, where there is so much corporate interest and so many opportunities for you off the course, assuming that the game is going well. So, last question: how is your game going at the moment?
It's been good. I've played well since I turned pro, and it's just nice now to have a week at home. I've been, as I said, on the road for 8 weeks now, so just nice to kind of reset and focus and get back to practice and get working on my game again. But game's good. Very excited for next week, so should be a good week.
Well, listen, we wish you all the very best. Congratulations on turning pro, and thanks a million for joining us this morning, Olivia.
Thank
Cheers.
you.